Our objective for today is that we're going to compare and contrast text structures. So our goal today is we're going to look at some on the sheet. I'm going to let you work with your partner. You can use your notes that you've written, okay? You're going to identify the types of text structures on the page. Afterward, after you've got them identified, individually you are going to choose two. We talked about this before. You told me that it would be helpful if you had choice in which ones you were able to identify. So on the back, you're going to choose two of the text from the front, and you're going to compare and contrast them. And you are going to use the information that you did on the front to help you cite the evidence that helps you comprehend the text. So by doing so, you're going to show how the author contributed meaning and style to the text.
Today we were working with text structure, so previously the kids had learned the different types of text structure in order to help them gain meaning and comprehension for their reading. And what they were designed to do today was make sure they actually know those text structures, and they had talked about feeling more comfortable if they had a choice in which ones they explained.
So go ahead and work with your partners now. If you need me, you can raise your hand.
And so to meet their objective, they were to choose two that they could talk about and compare and contrast them in order to show how they gained meaning and how the author chose that text to help them to understand it better. There won't be, I would use my notes first of all. There's only 5, so that means everyone's only used one. You have mixed abilities in most of your middle school classes. Some need to challenge themselves, others need to feel confident in what they're able to do.
I've had a question come up, so I want to make sure everybody understands. You are determining the text structure for those 5. We talked about 6 different text structures. Each one of them will be used once, except for how many? 1. So there'll be one that's not used on this front side, okay? You've got to figure that out with your notes.
Okay, look at what you have here. First it does this, next
Now you know.
So by giving them choice, and we try to do it often in my class so that they're able to show you what they actually do know. And some students actually will take that responsibility to take on the more difficult ones than they would do otherwise. And then others have the opportunity to get praise for what they actually know instead of penalized for what they don't know. So in order to provide more choice, it helps if you know your students and their needs. So normally before we even make choices, we've already discussed it in the classroom and given them some ownership in the choices that they'll have. Chimpanzees live in groups like you, and like each other a lot, but sometimes they fight because they don't want to stay angry at each other. I conference with my students both with what they read and with what they write, so I get to know them personally and their experiences through a lot of that. We do a lot of group work and those kind of things where we get to know each other, and we always reinforce like positive interactions.
Okay, so it looks like everybody has got their answers down. I want to talk about a little bit to make sure you have the right thing. That way when you go to write, you know that you have, when you make your choice, you know that you're choosing one that you know. So when you make that choice, choose ones that you know that you feel confident in answering well, okay? And it's about using your evidence to explain that, all right? So let's go through it real quick. Anybody want to volunteer to tell me number 1 and why you chose it? All right, Ethan.
In my classroom, I'm able to provide my students with the opportunities for responsibility. One is through their choices because they take ownership in it that way.
Okay, how about the third one? Several people had trouble with that one. So I'd like somebody to explain that one to me real well. Go ahead.
But we also do a lot of self-reflection on our learning, and so they are looking for their weaknesses and they tell them to me instead of the other way around.
All right, so first thing I want to know about is how do you feel about, we talked about doing choice. Did you find it to be helpful that you got to pick your 2 rather than me picking? All right, Carrie, you're saying yes. How do you feel about it?
I feel that because I chose the ones that were more difficult for me.
You picked the difficult ones for you? And why did you do that?
Because to know that I can understand them better.
Okay, and so which two, I'm curious then, which two did you pick?
I chose chronological and description.
We
Okay.
use some of the rubrics for writing that actually come from the state. They actually have some that are student friendly, and so I've taught them how to use those so that they can take responsibility in their writing instead of asking me, did I do this well? It has pretty much where they self-score so that they're able to make that determination for themselves before I even look at it.
How'd you feel about getting to choose them rather than having them chosen for you?
I felt like if you could have chosen, I could have chosen the ones that I could have got done, like got through it quicker because I knew which ones were like easy, and they were
Okay.
like I can just throw them right off the bat and just.
So you felt like you were able to show me what you did know instead of being stuck on one you might not know? Okay.
And my kids really like them because it breaks it down in student-friendly terms so they can say, it says, do I have this? And they can clearly answer yes or no and ways for them to fix it.
Do you like when I give you choice? Do you want me to do that again? Okay.